What's up, everyone? Just tuning up. So, man, I hate these snark tuners. Are so inaccurate. Okay, that works. Okay, yeah, I'm doing a little later tonight. I know that some of the earlier times don't work with people. So I'm trying a later one to see. We can't get everybody. There's people from all over the world. It's good for you, Chip. It's bad for people in Germany. You know. Aloha, Mr. Donaghy. Okay, so tomorrow, thanks to the Beato Club and to my friend Don at SNL, I'm going to interview Peter Frampton. Going to Nashville to do that. Which I'm unbelievably psyched about. So I was eating dinner listening to Frampton, listening to a bunch of Frampton songs. Because I'm trying to decide if I should bring my guitar to play with him. And that would be unbelievable to play with him. So I'm trying to decide what I should do. What kind of questions I should ask him. I've watched a bunch of interviews with him. I watched an interview that my brother sent me from Premier Guitar, where what's up, Kent? Where he basically goes over his entire rig. It's an hour-long video. He goes over his whole rig, stuff that he did in the 70s and beyond. I mean, he's got an incredibly extensive rig. What's up, Zach? And I don't want to go over that. I don't want to tread over that. I want to talk about music with him. I'm a massively big Frampton fan. He was a huge influence on me. His music got me into jazz. I mean, that was one of the things that that was a gateway for me into jazz. I was figuring out his solos. So I'm going to ask him about songwriting, about his guitar soloing, everything. What I really want to do is I want to listen to some of the tunes from Frampton Comes Alive with him, like it's a What Makes This Song Great, but with Peter Frampton. So now I have the tracks to Do You Feel Like We Do? So I'm going to bring those. I have to find them tonight. I know I have the tracks to it, but I'm going to bring them just in case. That would be pretty interesting to actually listen to the multi-tracks with him. But I'd like to get some other multi-tracks. I don't know if he has any of them. What's up, David? Michael? Anyway, so if anyone has any questions, you want to put them in the comment stream here or afterwards. Do I have transcribed solos to the solos in my videos? No. Teeth damage from the talk box. It's a plastic tube, so probably not. Yeah, somebody asked me if I had. How many of you saw my new video I just put out today? Which is it's my second in my series of 3 guitar solos. It's kind of like Between Two Ferns or something, 3 guitar solos. So the concept of this type of video is to take, I say it in the beginning, but I'm still evolving with it, to play parts of a couple of famous solos and then teach one in the middle, really talk in depth about one. How does he feel on the I'm in You album looking back on it? I'll ask him that. Where can you go to learn mastering in person? The best way to learn mastering I learned about mastering because I went to hundreds of mastering sessions. Sound pressure from the talk box loosening teeth. Carlos Rios, hard to find out much about him. No website, no social media. I know, it's crazy, right? It's crazy. How did I get the recording tracks I mentioned? Oh, I've talked about that a lot, Gene. People give them to me. Yeah, I was talking to a really well-known producer the other day that I'd never spoken to that follows my channel. Has worked on a bunch of big hit records, okay? And he asked me where I got them from, which is hilarious. Because you think that that these big name guys would have these things. So, apparently not. Let's see here. Is there a Beatles song you think is great and do a video? Well, there's a million Beatles songs, but I can't do any of them, unfortunately. Yeah, I wish I could. Carlos Rios. There's a great story that he talks about how he got the gig recording on the Gino Vanelli, because they were. I can't remember where I heard it, but it's on YouTube. Him talking about it, and Larry Carlton got him the thing, I guess, and there's some funny story with it. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's really, really funny, and he just kills it. There's that song. There's another song on there that's on the record, on the Brother to Brother record that he plays a smoking solo on also. So that was another influential record on me. That's the first time I heard people play bebop lines that with distortion. I mean, I had heard it. I heard Joe Pass, I heard Charlie Parker, I heard Miles, but I never heard a guitar player play those kind of lines with distortion. But if you play some of them clean, they are bebop lines, but more modern bebop, like this one lick. That. I mean, that's a. Oh, you guys can't see my guitar, but yeah, these licks. That's a. That's just an F altered line that he plays there, and then he plays here. He plays the same lick. Plays the same type of alter dominant lick in another spot. So that was an amazing, amazing solo. But they were things that I learned back when I was in high school. That came out when I was probably in 10th grade or so, 78, I want to say, the Gino Vanelli. And then obviously Frampton Comes Alive came out when I was in, I think it's from 76, when I was in probably 8th grade or so. Right when I was starting to play. I mean, seriously, I started when I was 13. Started the summer of my summer of 7th grade. After 7th grade, I've told this story, I think, but I broke my ankle really badly beginning of the summer. Oh, I was in a cast for 13 weeks. When I think about it, I still can feel the pain. So I couldn't go anywhere, and they didn't have walking casts or anything like that. It was a really bad break. So I was stuck on the couch, and my brother had this guitar that's sitting around that was $1 that he got from a friend of his. This really cheap guitar. It wasn't even made out of wood. So I got that guitar, and he had a Mel Bay book with chord diagrams in it. Pictures of chords, actually. They would show the person's left hand fingering the chords with the chord grid. And I had played the cello already, so I had, because of the cello spacing is basically like this, right? And if you think about it, if you look at it, what does that look? Well, that's exactly what you would do for the cello, just like that, okay? So it's perfect guitar spacing. So as soon as I picked up the guitar, as soon as I started playing, I could play things. I had chops instantly when I was playing. So, and I didn't go through a period with calluses because of the cello. So I learned chords. Took me, I don't know, a couple days to learn all the open chords. There was a song from America on their first record called Never Found the Time that was the first song I learned, I want to say. And the first chord in the song is this. It's G sus4, which is pretty funny, right? G sus4, G, then like a G add 9 sus4, sus4, sus2, back to G. And that kind of got me off to the races. Then, I was already listening to things. I was, listening to the Beatles and Motown and the Stones and Led Zeppelin and Aerosmith and everything that was coming out in the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s. So I knew all these songs, and then I realized that I could tell what chords they were when they were playing, and I had a cassette player, and I started figuring out songs. All different kinds of music. I figured out Frampton songs. I figured out Led Zeppelin songs. I figured out Yes songs. I remember I figured out Long Distance Runaround off the thing. Let's see. Never forgot that. I figured out Don't Take Me Alive, Larry Carlton. Kid Charlemagne, the Carlos Rios solo eventually. After a couple years, I was able to figure those out. What's up, Bill? So that's kind of how I got going on that. And these guitar solos from the series, I'm not only going to do rock solos, I'm going to do other solos too. These things are, ingrained in my brain, and they have been for 40 years. So I never played in a cover band. So I never played any of these songs or anything. Well, I mean, I had pickup bands and stuff. We do covers occasionally, but so so that's that's kind of the was a massive part of that. Just absolutely a massive part of and I was just listening over over dinner, listening to a bunch of his songs and trying to explain to my wife and kids how important that was. So it's cool. I mean, it's just great. I'm excited about this. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Rick was figuring out the guitar chords and wasn't sure if the singer on Dream On was a man or woman. That's not true. I knew it was a man. Best way to describe hexatonic scales to people. Frank, good to hear from you. Okay. Hexatonic scales have 6 notes per octave. Whole tone scale is a scale. The augmented scale, the I guess the blues scale would be a hexatonic scale. I'm not sure I'm not sure what you're asking, Frank, as far as the best way to describe them. They're just 6-note scales. The Prometheus scale. They're not all symmetrical scales. They're whole tone scale is a symmetrical scale, but the blues scale is not a symmetrical scale. Diatonic scales or modes. Most modes are pretty much all the modes are all 7-note scales. Some of them have leading tones. Some of them don't have leading tones. Like a whole tone scale doesn't have a leading tone. Blues doesn't have a leading tone, but augmented scale has a leading tone. Let's see, Keel. Let's see. Frampton. I remember hearing downtime more after his session work and struggling. Curious what he did to expand, reinvent his playing, composing. I will ask him that. Yeah, I will ask him that. Dave, take out the 4th. Yeah, so hexatonic scales, you have your pentatonic scales, which are 5-note. You have hexatonic, you have octatonic, 8 notes. Mahalo. Frampton's 3 pickup. So his 3 pickup Les Paul was not made for him specially. Somebody gave it to him. It was a 54 Les Paul, and he wanted to buy it from someone, and they gave it to him. I forget who it was. And then it got lost for 30 years in a plane crash. It partially burned, and he got it back about 5 years ago or so. Frank, I guess I'm asking whether to think of modifying a pentatonic scale or leaving out something from a regular scale. I just think that I would just teach them as separate things and not think about modifying anything. I wouldn't think about modifying it. Yeah, so Frampton's his 3 pickup Les Paul was actually a 2 pickup that had P90s in it originally, and the guy he bought it from routed it out and put 3 pickups in. I'm not going to ask him about that really because there's already a couple videos of him describing that. But 7-note scales screw up the phrasing. 7 notes in an eighth note world, 8-note world would be, I think, Dave. Does he use the middle pickup? Bill, it's interesting. His the pickups have each tone knob. Each knob on the Les Paul does a different thing. So they do blend the pickups somehow. I'm not sure. I have to ask him about that. But it would be amazing if I got to play that guitar. I'm not sure I'm going to bring a guitar. I don't want to be presumptuous or anything. And so I don't know. Should I bring a guitar? Anybody think that I should bring a guitar? Like dear friends maneuver, yeah. Let's see here. Let me get back to Frank's question about modifying a pentatonic scale or leaving something out of a regular scale. You know, so there's a whole tone scale, right? Then you have the augmented scale. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. I can, yes, bring it, leave it in the case. Steve, I'm going to ask him that, where he learned those things. But I've seen him interviewed where he talks about Wes Montgomery. He's into jazz. He likes jazz guitar players. His dad was very into Django, and he hated it when he first heard Django. Then he started to like it, and then he loved Django, and then he started getting into other jazz guitar players. So, Brad wrote a swing jazz A minor alt tune with a bridge. Your major chord idea: C, A, E flat, B, C, A minor. Worked out great. Awesome. There you go. That's kind of why I do these videos. It's nice if people take some of the things from the videos and actually do something with them. That's kind of the idea. I like to think that I'm also exposing people to things that they might not know or might not have heard of. I don't know how many of you have ever heard that brother to brother solo or heard of Carlos Rios. Carlos Rios, though, played with Chick Corea with the Electric Band later on. So it's not that he's not an unknown player, but he's there's not a lot out there about him. He's got no pictures on the internet. I had that one picture in the video, and it's a terrible picture. It's really unbelievable that he has no pictures on the internet. So he's not big into social media. But, some of the guitar players from back then, Denny Diaz, that plays a lot of Steely Dan guitar solos, like on Do It Again, was a great player. I think he's out of music completely. I want to say he does, I don't know if he sells insurance or what, or if he's retired or what. I don't know. But as far as I know, he's not in music anymore. It's just crazy, though, that people like that are... he was one of the founding members of Steely Dan. They used to have a band. And he's all over those first few records. Just an amazing, amazing player. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. Pentatonic, Brecker and McCoy. Flat 7. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 5, flat 7. Yeah, there's a lot of different pentatonics. I have a lot of pentatonics scales on I have a lot of videos of pentatonics. Oh, Ken, no. It's yeah, Steven Tyler. My brother had a lot of Aerosmith records. One of my brothers did. And I remember when the first Aerosmith record came out with Mama Kin and Dream On and all that. There's an amazing record. I loved Aerosmith. What are the chances to get Vito Bratta? I thought Vito Bratta is retired now, Michael. I think he might be selling insurance or something. We'll see. Derek Trucks. I'm going to do something on Derek. I mean, I'd like to. He'd be another person I would love to interview. So I just need to figure out how I get to him. Amazing. I love that. Even though that's a keyboard part, it's absolutely beautiful. It's really, really. There's a funny story. There's a guy that I knew that was a managed a bunch of rock bands, and he was roommates with Steven Tyler before Aerosmith became big, back in 1971 or so. And they had a grand piano in their apartment where they were living at the time. It was in Boston, I guess. And, or outside of Boston, maybe. So, he said Steven Tyler would play Dream On the piano all the time. Over and over and over. Play that piano part. And he kept saying to him, this is going to be a #1 hit. And it was. I just think that's pretty funny. He said just for months he would play that. He would play Dream On at the piano and sing it. I don't know if he had the whole song done, but any chance of getting Lukather on? There's a chance of getting anyone on except Pat Metheny. I wrote to Metheny again. I wrote to his personal email. No response. I wrote him a week ago. Over a week ago. Nothing. I know it's his email too. Nothing. So he obviously doesn't want to. I think that he probably. It might be because of my channel size. He would want to be in control of the interview because he's very much into having control of things like that. And you saw that who's retired, Brad? Not Metheny. He just finished gigging last week. Maybe he's retired this week. You read that he's getting out, Metheny? That would be hard to believe. David Torn, Michael. I knew David Torn way, way back. He used to live in Ithaca, New York. He was in a band called the Zobo Fun Band. Zobo Fun Band back in the 80s. And he's he lived in Ithaca. He lives in Woodstock. Yeah. I mean, I haven't talked to him in 30 years, but I love his guitar playing. It's weird to see him with gray hair because he used to have a big head of curly black hair, and then I see pictures of him and he's, well, I mean, you know, look who's talking. Metheny that's right, Keola. He just performed in Honolulu. A bunch of dates he played in Hawaii. Mark Mariana, that's right. He gave Frampton the Phoenix. And it was already modded with a 3 That's right. It was already modded with the 3 pickups. Frampton lent it for 2 nights on the Fillmore gig and asked to buy it. Mark gave it to him. That's right. Have Pete Thorne again. That conversation on GitCon was really good, except for the sound quality. Man, unbelievable. The Phoenix. Yeah, well, I didn't record the audio on that, so I'm hoping I don't have the same issues tomorrow with Frampton. I'm not planning on having any sound problems. Besides, we're going to be in a studio in Nashville. That woman asked me, his assistant asked me how long the interview would be, and I said, at least an hour, but I'll go as long as Peter will. So I'm hoping to get a couple hours. Hope so. Anyhow, all right. So Michael, GitCon was a little disjointed. There's no question about that. They wrote to me and they want me to I wrote the guys and I told them how they could improve it for next year. But Pete Thorne actually had a lot of really good ideas that he had sent an email, and the people there are great. I really enjoyed going. But it could be way better. It could be way, way better. Actually, and the tape op guys. That would be good. That would be good. I don't know those guys, though. You know them, Michael? Or you're just saying that would be a good interview? Let's see. Maybe me and Pete could be more involved in the planning next year. Well, Pete, really, you can introduce us. Yeah, send me an email, Michael, to my rickbeato1@gmail. Yeah, Pete had everything Pete said in he sent an email about how they can improve it. And they were very easy fixes. So I'd like to go back next year and do it, because I really enjoyed the people. It was great, all the people I met and hung out with. One of the people that I met is the PR person for Paul Reed Smith. And I need to write her back because I have the possibility of going up to PRS in a couple weeks, where I'm going to interview Paul Reed Smith, interview the president of the company, take a tour of the factory, and then I think go out to dinner with all of them. So I need to write the publicist back about it, because she offered that, which would be incredible. Steve, yes, I am going to Winter NAMM in January. Yes. Would be great to get Landau, but he's another one who's interview shy. And who was I talking to that knows Landau? Somebody I was talking to recently knows him. So I'm going to work on all this stuff. This is what the Beato Club's for, and it's allowing me to do this, which is really unbelievable. It's great, and thank you, all of you, for donating, because I wouldn't be able to do these kind of trips that I've done, and like NAMM, the PRS thing, all that. Am I going to do another Atlanta Masterclass? In July again. Every year. Yeah. It's hard to, honestly, it's hard to publicize things through YouTube. Pete Thorne knows Landau, but can't get him on his channel. Okay. Maybe Pete was telling me about that. Pete knows everybody. He knows everybody. All right, listen. I got to go and get ready, get all my gear together for tomorrow. All my video gear. So I'm ready for this. Leave me questions here in the comments about Frampton if you guys think of anything. And I'll check it out later. So I will tell Peter. Absolutely. How many of you got the transcription that I put out last night, or that Aaron put out? I'm going to do another live stream here, probably this weekend. I still have a couple to make up for this past for being gone the last couple weeks. It's on Flat 5. I put up the transcription from the video, the Dorian Flat 2 video. I don't know if it gets sent to you or what. Aaron, are you there? I'll talk to Aaron and see what's up with it. It should have went out to everybody. What is the normal regular live stream time? There's never been a normal regular. Oh, you see it on Flat 5? There you go. Yeah, you got to check Flat 5 for those things. So there is no normal live stream time. Normally I do one every couple days or so. Yeah, there's no email for the thing, Kent. You have to actually go back and check. Go back and check there. That's a great question about Frampton, about the songwriting, chord structure, melody, line, or lyric. That is a great, that's a great question. At some point, do any club members want to hear each other's music? I can have Aaron put something on Flat 5. Can we get notified of live streams on the other channels? So there's a thing on YouTube. When you subscribe to my channel, there's a notification button, and there's actually they actually gave you options. They changed it and it never told anyone. Some of them are you get notifications sometimes. I think that became the default, and you can set it for getting notifications all the time. And that's I think a lot of people are set on that and don't realize when the live streams come up. But the new thing that they have now, the premiere, is great because now that it'll give you a notification in advance of when I'm going to do it. So I'm going to try that on my next live stream, which will be on Saturday. I will do a premiere thing, a couple hours before, and then we'll see how that works. This is all new, this premiere thing, but I think it's really cool. And it'll come up, you'll get a notification with a picture on it, like with this. Yeah, so Kent, this is a new thing. The preview notification thing is new, so I'm gonna start using that this weekend. But on Saturday I'll do a live stream in the afternoon. So all right, you guys are awesome, and I'm gonna do another Beato Club live stream, and I've got another lesson coming out. That it'll be out on Saturday too, another lesson on the Beato Club. So thanks everybody.